Alexandra Eala won her seventh straight match on Friday night in Toronto, and then she stood there and told everyone the truth. "I'm as tired as one can be at this stage." Midway through the second set, she had hit a forehand, landed wrong, rolled her right ankle, and called for the physio. That is the part the highlight packages leave out. They will show you the winner down the line and the number 20 beside her name. They will not show you the medical timeout or the 2 hours and 39 minutes it took to get past Caty McNally, 6'3", 5'7", 6'4". So here is what the story actually is. Eala's winning streak has stopped being purely an achievement. It has turned into a scheduling problem. For the next 3 weeks, that streak in the United States Open will be competing for the same body, and every extra match she wins in Toronto builds her ranking and spends what she needs in New York at the same time in the same swing. There is no version of this where she takes one and not the other. Before we get back to the ankle, you need to understand how this stretch of the season is built, because most of what was written about her this week has the incentives backwards. Start with the dates, because the dates are the argument. The Canadian Open finishes in Toronto on Thursday, the 13th of August. The Cincinnati Open main draw begins on Thursday, the 13th of August, not the following week, not the day after, the same day. If Eala reaches the final she has been playing towards, she walks on court in Toronto while the tournament she is seated at in Ohio has already started without her. Cincinnati runs to the 23rd. The United States Open begins on the 30th. That leaves 6 open days, and they are the days you use to travel and acclimatize, not to rest. Now, the part people get wrong, the obvious question is why she does not just skip Cincinnati, protect the ankle, and arrive in New York fresh. On paper, that is the intelligent play. She is projected there as the 18th seed inside the 32 seeded in a 96-player draw. The rulebook makes it expensive. Cincinnati is a mandatory commitment event at the WTA 1000 level. Under the WTA rules, a player aged 18 or over who fails to play a mandatory 1000 does not simply forgo the points she might have won. She receives a 0-point result, and that 0 must count as one of her best 18 tournament results when her ranking is calculated. That is the mechanism the whole summer turns on. The penalty is not an absence, it is an occupation. A 0 moves into her ranking, takes up a room, and sits there for the next 52 weeks, crowding out a result she actually earned. For a player ranked number 5 with a wall of trophies behind her, a 0 is survivable arithmetic. For a 21-year-old who entered the top 24 days ago, whose 18 best results are still being assembled, it is a hole in a structure that is not finished being built. Then there is the seeding, which runs on a clock most viewers never see. The United States Open draw is made on the 27th of August, and the seedings come off the rankings published on the 24th. 32 players are seeded, and a seed cannot meet another seed before the third round. So every point Eala earns between now and the 24th does not just decorate her ranking, it buys her 2 rounds of shelter in a Grand Slam draw, and the only places left to earn those points are Toronto and Cincinnati. The system does not reward her for resting, it pays her precisely and immediately for playing hurt. That is a trap rather than a choice. She has to decide between the ranking she has climbed a decade toward and the tournament that ranking exists to prepare her for, and the deadline lands while she is still winning. Which brings us back to the ankle. I kind of rolled my ankle in that second set. I hit the forehand and I landed kind of wrong. I called the physio. I don't know what happened because it happened so fast, but luckily there's nothing wrong with it, and there were no serious problems. Take her at her word on the joint, there is no reason not to, but she was noticeably less reassuring about everything else. Today was physically, it pushed me a lot. I have a lot of matches in the bag. And then asked how tired she was, the line that should be leading the coverage this weekend. I needed to push a lot. I'm as tired as one can be at this stage. You can imagine a lot of matches. That is not a player managing a scare. That is a player describing an accumulation. The ankle is an event, the exhaustion is a condition, and conditions are what end hardcourt summers. Consider what is in those legs. In Washington, she won the first WTA singles title in Filipino history, and look at the rout. Zheng Qinwen, an Olympic champion in the opening round. Leylah Fernandez, the defending champion and the 7th seed after that. Alina Svitolina, then the world number 10 and the 2nd seed in the quarterfinals. Naomi Osaka, a 4-time Grand Slam champion, in the semifinals. Then, in a final stretched across 2 days by storms, Jessica Pegula, the top seed and the world number 3, beaten 4-6, 6-4, 6-love. She entered that tournament ranked number 28 and left it at number 20, 8 places higher, the first Filipina ever inside the top 20. Then, with no week off anywhere, she went to Toronto as the 25th seed and won 2 more. Here is how large this has become from the other side of the net. Caty McNally, before she played her, was not just talking about tactics. What she's doing for tennis is unreal and selling out stadiums, she said, and then on walking into that atmosphere as the opponent, part of me wants to accept what's going on around and enjoy it and take it in. It's a great experience. That is a professional acknowledging she is a guest at someone else's moment. Eala thanked her afterwards for a great match being a great sport. The pressure was never on the player being thanked. Bencic is next in the round of 16, the 12th seed, the world number 14, an Olympic gold medalist, and a first career meeting. That is a hard match for a fresh player. Eala will not be a fresh player. So the verdict? The number to watch is not her ranking and not how far she goes this week. It is whether she appears in Cincinnati on the 13th at full load, hedged or not at all. Here is the exact scenario where skipping is smarter. If she reaches the Toronto semifinals or the final, she banks a serious haul of points and almost certainly holds a seeded position in New York. At that moment, the value of Cincinnati collapses toward nothing, while the risk to a rolled ankle on hard court climbs steeply. In that specific case, eating the 0 and arriving intact is correct, and it is not close. She will almost certainly play anyway, not from stubbornness, because she is 21, because every point is still load-bearing, because a 0 among the best 18 is a wound that lasts a year, and because nobody in this sport has ever found it easy to stop while they were winning. She said it herself, and she was not complaining. But that's the job. I'm ready. I'm excited for another match. It is the job. It is also the bill. The streak made her. The streak is now the risk. Both are true at once, and only one of them can still be true on the 30th of August.